Peace and love. Let's do a Lenormand reading for our fire signs, Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius, for mid-month, mid-January, as we head into February, the beginning of the new year. I'll be using the Egyptian Lenormand and the Art Nouveau, Egyptian Art Nouveau Tarot. Turn my light off real quick, Nemo. All right, in the end, I might pull some oracles, depending. Let's see. All right, Spirit. Thank you for being here with me, by the way, as I'm working to grow this channel. Spirit, what messages do you have for us? Have for the fire signs, Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius, as we head into February. Anytime you come across these readings, though, they're timeless when I make them. It's for whoever, all right? So the reading has some information for you if you've come across it. All right, Spirit, what messages do you have for the fire signs? Thank you. Kind of, so we can see if we can get some different energies from the others. A lot of times, collectively, we're going through a lot of the same things. All right, Spirit, what messages? Thank you. So we have the garden. I'll hold it up so you can see. The lily. The tower. The cross. The book. And the coffin. All right. On the bottom, we have the dog. All right, so the dog for me, of course, it's friendship, but I always read the dog as loyalty. Loyalty to others, but mostly loyalty to yourself. Loyalty to the life that you want to lead, right? Honoring yourself with this dog energy. Being proud of yourself with this energy as well. Being trusting with this. The sun, vitality, beautiful things coming in, situations being illuminated, success, life force, intuitively moving forward in your life, honoring the divine feminine energy with the female here at the bottom. All right, so let's see. I'm going to get a sip of my water. All right, so this reading to me, if I'm just looking at it energetically, it's wanting to move towards peace. It's looking for peace because we have the garden here and we have the lilies. This to me is peaceful environments, dealing with people that nourish us, being able to nourish ourselves properly in the right environments, right? We have the dog here, making sure we have those around us that is reciprocal when it comes to nurturing, giving, pouring into others, but also having them pour into us. Same with situations, giving deeply to a situation and allowing that to give deeply to us. For some, it's time to end a job or position that we've had for a very long time. Or because we have the tower and we have the coffin. The tower for me deals with, it could be higher level spiritual knowledge as well, but it's also positions of authority. It could be organizations. So for me, this is the idea of maybe leaving an organization behind and looking for peace in your life. Underneath the garden here, we have the cross. Making sure that we're not in burdensome situations. That's what this whole reading is about. because we have the idea of the garden, which brings about that beautiful energy. And then we have the cross, which is powerful in many different ways. All right, it's not always negative. In most readings, I read it as negative. It's just spiritual life. But here, with this particular reading, it's the idea of making sure that our environments or our circumstances aren't weighing us down too heavily, aren't becoming too burdensome, right? I'm just looking. This here, Spirit is saying to have peace in what you know. Have peace in what you've acquired as well. Because for some of us, if we have to move into a new field, if we're leaving something behind, if it's been a position that we're leaving behind with the tower and the coffin card, something is coming to an end. Spirit is saying that you already have the resources mentally. You already have what you need to move forward into a new direction here, because we have the lily and we have the book. So having peace in what you know, being at peace with your knowledge, right? Also, the book for me is something that's opened and closed. So being at peace with closing a chapter in your life and starting fresh, not being afraid to do that, right? With this energy here, the cross in the book, bringing difficult and false ideas from your past to a close or to an end. Things that have been written, right? Either physically or mentally, bringing those to an end. This also makes me think of relying on the spiritual knowledge of your ancestors with this line. So for those of you all, if you watch my channel, I read spiritually, and so we work with ancestral energies, we work with our spirit guides. So relying on those energies to help to propel you, move you forward, being loyal to yourself, being loyal to your guides. More than that, being loyal to your purpose. Let's say it like that. Being loyal to your purpose. Our guides aren't asking us to be loyal. It's not about that. That's not the right energy. But being loyal to the higher self. Some of us need to meditate here as well with the garden. We need to get outside. All right. Being outside with nature, communing in that way, it's very spiritual. It's a spiritual practice. Spirit is saying it can be beneficial, can help to clear your mind as well as you are closing out this chapter or working to close out this chapter. This reading is about closing something out. The last reading I did was about that as well, cutting things away. We all are, this is where we are. If you are moving towards ascension, which we all are in many different ways, then you have to move through different cycles. You have to let old parts fade away. And you give thanks for those lessons, for that knowledge, for that education. And you're moving forward, right? This is also the idea of moving to new heights. It's this ascension here with this tower. Higher level spiritual knowledge. The tower also deals with protections. So ancestral protections here with the coffin underneath us. Spirit is saying that as you're closing out this chapter in your life, you are protected or you will be protected. So don't be afraid of that. We have the masculine energy. We have the whip / broom here. And then we have the child. And then on the bottom we have the moon. We saw the divine feminine energy appear to us earlier when we first started with the reading. And that's the energy to me of this moon. It's the idea of going within and allowing ourselves to be more intuitive as we close this chapter out and move forward, because this has been the issue. With this go, 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 do, all that is causing strife here, is causing difficulties. Spirit is saying that needs to close out. Whatever that is, that particular drive for success in that way, that's bringing about this energy of this whip and this broom. This is dealing with negative people. This is a negative mindset, negative environments. Don't forget, we want to bring peace into our lives. Originally, that's what we said this reading was about. The idea of having a peaceful existence on this planet and not feeling like we have to struggle for recognition or struggle for the things that can be granted to us if we just relax our bodies. Spirit is saying at the opposite of this energy is this, where we're able to go with the flow. We saw the dog earlier too, that energy of being trusting in spirit, but trusting in yourself mainly, right? Trusting in the self, trusting in that lightness and the simplicity of life. That's what I'm seeing here. Because there's two options. There are two options with this reading. There's being tied to old ways of living, which can be successful. It can be successful. Money, those things. But happiness might be lacking, right? Spiritual purpose might be lacking. If we're just going towards that drive of always trying to move and go and create and do, and, without giving ourselves a chance to sit and think and say, wait, do I really want this? So moving from this energy here and moving towards this. But also, we can't neglect this energy because we have to be leaders in our lives in order to bring about any change. All right, let's see. You want to think about that dog energy that we saw. The underlying energy of the reading for me is, of course, peacefulness, but being loyal to yourself. To be loyal is to be at peace with who you are. We have the Empress. We have the Eight of Wands. And we have the Lovers. On the bottom, we have the Seven of Swords. And so this Seven of Swords energy is two things for me. It's deceitfulness, because it's theft. All right, theft of goods, mental. It's mental. It could be theft of goods too, but theft of ideas, theft of the vision, theft of the dream, theft of who we are on the inside, right? Because we're trying to work within, because the tower is also a rigid structure, right? We think about with the tower, we think about organizations, and each organization has its own rules and regulations on how you operate within that sphere, that environment. It's just inherent. It's just the way it is. And so sometimes when you're dealing with organizations and you're dealing in these environments, the Seven of Swords is automatically there because you're not able to live in your truth because you can't step outside the bounds of this space. All right, so the Seven of Swords, it gives us two energies. It alerts us to the fact that something's not right in our environment, right? Something's not right, but it also gives us the solution to say that we have to maneuver our way out of it any way that we can. Not being detrimental to ourselves or hurting others, but in a way that's going to push us forward powerfully, but not harm the spirit. We don't want to harm ourselves with the Seven of Swords energy, but it's saying that something's not right in our environment and it has to change. Because where this is the energy of theft, it's also the person who's able to create something, create an opportunity. All right? It's the person who's able to, it's like the magician energy in the minor arcana. Creating a way out of no way. That kind of energy. Three of Swords. When you're operating in spaces, rigid spaces like this, where you're not able to move outside the box as much, you don't know it, because it's not like we're crying day in and day out, because that's not how it works. We can go, our bodies and our minds can go and go and go. We can always be in this energy of this what is it, the whip. We can always be in that energy, and we can always keep going. But if we sit back and realize that our spirits could be hurting, we could be hurting. If you're not accessing part of yourself or using parts of yourself, utilizing your creativity, it's harmful. It hurts. It hurts. Deep down inside, it hurts, right? Not those hurts that show daily, all the time. We want to move towards safe spaces. Spirit is saying this is where it's at, the creativity that comes with the Empress. The Empress sits on her throne. She's able to create freely. She's able to create with love. She creates with an open heart. That's why her creations are always powerful. All right? That's what keeps them from failing, is that she's able to utilize her heart. If you're in environments where the heart is broken or the heart is hurting because you can't access yourself properly, then you can't create in this space of the Empress. Spirit is saying when you get to the point where you're able to create in the space of the Empress with your heart fully open, that means you are loyal to your creations, you're loyal to yourself, who you are, your vision for your future. That's a powerful space to be in. It takes time to get there. She creates with confidence. She's abundant. Things come to her. She doesn't have to go anywhere. They come to her. That's a powerful position to be in, spiritually and physically, when we talk about tangible goods. Things just coming to us without us asking for them, because we've created our lives in a way that we live openly. All right? Spirit is saying that when we can get to the point where we're open enough, our hearts are open, and they're not broken by circumstance, and us boxing ourselves in, we'll move freely and quickly towards true love, the ultimate love of the divine in us, and just what we're doing. Loving our day, day in and day out. Loving the work that we're creating. Loving what we have in store for us when we wake up in the morning. That's the key to it all. Right? Let's see what else we got. If this reading resonates with you, then all of them will, because they all have similar energies. It's collective, and so we have leadership, and so perseverance. So we realize too that we're going through some things with this reading, right? We know where we want to be. We want to be in a position of peacefulness, but we have to get there. And then we have imagination. Spirit is saying, don't be afraid to use your imagination. I want to show these too, because we have this, the leadership with the masculine energy, and we have the imagination with the child. This is kind of the where you need to be. This is the medicine. This is the remedy or the solution. You have to continue with the leadership, because we have to lead ourselves. You have to know what you want out of your life. You have to have an understanding of your direction forward. But you still have to be loyal and faithful like that dog, and have the imagination and the lightness and being of the child too. It's not an easy place to be, but those things are required to get out of your circumstance that you're in right now. Spirit is saying to have courage with tiger's eye, higher vision with labradorite, and the vitality will eventually come with the sun. The energy comes when we're doing what we want to do. The energy comes when we're happy with what we're creating, right? Let's do one more. Hopefully you've been able to hear me. My heat kicked on, so. Oh, true leadership requires imagination. There are plenty of leaders. They think they're leaders, but they don't have any imagination. The imagination is the visionary piece. You're a visionary. You know, you want to be a leader that's a visionary. not one that's a carbon copy of somebody else, or one that's stealing other people's ideas, or one that's living somebody else's life. A lot of people operate in that manner. They'll take the title of leadership, but they don't lead themselves. That's true leadership. Leadership is leading itself. That's the most powerful form of leadership. It's the hardest form of leadership. It's the only type of leadership that matters. Spiritually, it's the only leadership that matters. Emotional healing. That came out of my last reading. Let me get another one. We already saw that Three of Swords with the heart. So moving out of these situations, not being afraid to say no to these rigid structures, rigid ideas. It could be ideas too. Forgiving ourselves here. All right? Situations from the past. Decisions we've made in the past. All right? Spiritual growth, spiritual lessons. We've been able to persevere through those things. It's a gift. All right? We all have to experience something. We give thanks for that. But it's time to move on. Spirit is saying that you are a healer. Before we access that gift of healing others, we need to understand the healing that needs to happen on the self. We start there first. We start there first. All right. We'll be back in a couple of weeks to see where the energies are. If you've enjoyed or if anything has resonated with you, please consider liking. It's reciprocal, the energy here. It means that if you share with me and I share with you. And one way you can share with me is just clicking the like button so that my videos can move. I'm trying to grow. It's been difficult for me on this platform, but I still do it because it's my spiritual purpose. I have another channel called The Compassionate Oracle, which is also slow and non-moving, but I do it, and so I'm thankful for what I do have. All right, until next time, peace. Sending you love.